welcome to the Brewtiful Game. As always, I am Blake here with Ferris.
Hola.
And birthday boy. Birthday. It's Ron's birthday.
It was somebody's birthday.
Happy birthday to you.
Well, that was interesting.
How does the big 2-1 feel?
Oh, man, I can't.
This is the whole last pod's been illegal.
I mean, how was the big 2-3 doing?
23 for the 12th time.
Attaboy.
Just kidding. And
Well, Ron had an awesome birthday. Ferris and I sat here weathering Hurricane Irma. And Ron was chillaxing in California.
Yep, a perfectly timed business trip. Had me leave Saturday, come back today. So on my birthday, I drove the Pacific Coast Highway.
Wow.
Not the whole thing.
Not
but
jealous like whatsoever. Right
not
now.
the whole thing, but just the southern portion. So it's about a 5-hour drive from like Malibu-ish area, or I should say Ventura, the Ventura area.
Oh, Ventura.
Yeah, all the way to Monterey. So that was pretty awesome.
Well, you missed a...
We were dealing with the 100-mile-per-hour winds,
Yeah.
and
Obviously, like we hope everybody that listens to us, a lot of you checked in. It seemed like folks that contact us on Twitter seem to be doing okay. But I hope everybody fared
Yes.
Irma all right. I discovered I have a weird thing that when the hurricane actually goes like through and you're okay and your neighborhood's okay, but you know everything's shut down. It's clear skies.
Mhm.
The hurricane's been gone for 6 hours. All I wanted was bad Chinese food, and I couldn't get it.
And some of them were open.
We said we're not over here.
Some
though.
of them were open.
Yeah. We got hit with a lot of power outages over here. But I doesn't know why. But I just wanted some egg drop soup
It's awkward.
and some like egg rolls so bad.
Are you pregnant?
I don't know, man. Maybe I
Having a
am.
craving?
Because I had all this food that we stacked
Maybe
away.
I am. He said.
I got all this food stacked away that I was excited to eat, but I just was like, I just really want some fried rice right now. I don't know why.
Hey, if you are pregnant, we're going on the road. We're going to make some money.
We're gonna make a lot of money.
We're going to be on Oprah.
You get a baby. You get a baby.
That's the Olivier Giroux show. Yeah, the women just walk in and they're all pregnant
Yep.
as soon as they walk in.
Just by like contact and smell.
He goes, bonjour.
Oh, done.
And then when the babies all come out, they have perfect hair and beards.
Coiffed. Yeah.
Quaffed. They have little lumbersexuals, all of them.
Yep. A lot of little flannel onesies.
The footies.
Now I want a flannel Arsenal shirt. Someone needs to make that.
Oh my gosh. I'm sure they make one somewhere. They have to.
I suppose we should, on that note, go to the beer.
Sure.
I hope it's lumbersexual themed.
It's not. It's not flannel themed. It's Hurricane-esque themed. And I'm not. Believe me, this is not trying to make a joke or anything like that. The hurricane that came through Florida and affected all of Florida, as well as the islands and everything like that. It was a very bad storm. It was a Cat 5 when it hit the islands, and it was a Cat 2 coming through here. And I've been in Florida my entire life. I am a Florida boy. You will not take me out of this state. I love the heat. I love to sweat. I'm wearing a Florida flag on my hat as we speak in Orlando, Jersey. I'm a Florida boy, true and true. I love it here. Cat 5 get hit. I will stay here. This storm was not good.
Dude, it's I'm from North Carolina, and I have been through many a hurricane. That was some scary stuff.
Been through a lot as well. It was, yeah.
Between
no
4
joke.
and 6 a.m. here at the house, I pretended to sleep on the sofa. Like I was just laying there in the dark. But I just, every now and then there'd be these gusts that I was like, if the roof ripped off the second afterwards, I wouldn't have been shocked because it was so friggin' loud.
Yeah, it was.
I've only been through the eye wall of a couple of times for any hurricanes I've experienced, but this was the windiest.
They always sound like a freight train.
Yeah.
And the weird thing about the wind is it keeps escalating, and then you get these major gusts, and you're like, oh, is this the new normal? Because those winds just come in, and it is. It's like,
and then it'll stop. It's like
Right.
I heard someone describe it. It's like you hear a wave coming that never crashes.
Right.
But then it never like finishes. It just keeps going.
Speaking of waves, I don't know if you guys saw this. So, real quick, the beer I have is from a brewery that we've mentioned on the pod before, probably seen something on Tap from us before. I know I've put up before. I'm a big fan from my hometown. It's Big Storm Brewing.
I knew that's what it was going to be.
So,
they've been on the pod before.
I don't think we've done any of their beers on the pod. I know I've
had
mentioned
Three
them.
Sisters.
We've had Cigar City, Three Daughters.
Sorry, not
Three Daughters. Yeah. We've had
Who does Reef Donkey?
Reef Donkey's Tampa Bay Brewing.
Yeah. Okay.
We've had that. But anyways, so they are based out of the Tri-County area of Pinellas, Pasco, Hillsborough, so St. Pete, Tampa, Clearwater area. They have a tap room in Pinellas County as well as in Pasco. They brew in Tampa. But what I was going to is, did you see the hurricane was so strong? Ron, you and I were talking about this. The Tampa Bay, which is usually full of seawater, it's a bay, was drained for like miles.
Stranded manatees. It was crazy.
The hurricane was so strong that it pulled the water away. It was insane, but it actually kind of helped in a way, because I was listening to I don't know the guy's name, but fantastic, like the head chief guy on the ABC thing down there in Tampa was saying it actually helped a lot of our areas, because when the rain started to come, rather than streets and whatnot starting to flood,
it went out into the bay.
Right, it went out to the bay and actually had some place to go because there wasn't bodies of water there anymore.
And I didn't know that when that happened.
Insane.
Because of a storm, it doesn't do like, I thought like tsunami, like will it rush back? It doesn't rush back in. It slowly rises back up.
Right. And I haven't seen anything on the storm surge insane, but I don't think it was that.
It was farther south. That's what's interesting.
And north, right? Up in Jacksonville, they got
after the storm went through. Yes. The storm surge is interesting because as the hurricane rotates, it pulls all the water from the top side and puts it in the bottom side. And then as the hurricane leaves, all that water's got to go somewhere. So that's where your storm surge comes from. So it was pretty cool that it took almost all the water out of Tampa Bay.
Which is insane. And as I said, I've been in Florida my entire life, been through hurricanes. I've never seen the Bay of Tampa Bay, be drained like that.
Yeah.
Insane. But
I feel like we got to do pod to start the meteorology.
Now,
right.
With the Florida boys. Yeah. There we go. So
that's the
Big
other
Storm
pod.
Brewing. They have a lot of beers. They have the Palm Bender and Wave Maker and Tropical Pressure. A lot of awesome beers. This is one I have not had before. It was a 2016 bronze winner in the Best Beer Florida Beer Championship professional competition. It is
Dun, 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 dun.
Helicity Lager, a Pilsner from Big Storm Brewing. This is one of the ones I have. I've had a lot of their beers, but I have not had this yet.
Oh, I'm excited.
Right. So it is.
Is that a Hellas Lager?
Yes.
Because it's because Helicity Lager.
Helicity.
I love Hellas Lagers.
It is a.
Thank you, sir.
Pairs well with blackened fish, Cuban sandwiches, and spicy wings. Oh, dude, what a great Florida list of foods.
That's awesome.
Yeah. That's so great.
Oh, yeah. So it is it's fairly low on the ABV. I don't only 4.3, which most Pilsners
drinkable. Yeah.
Lagers are, down in that range. It is crisp, refreshing with a dry finish. Helicity features European 2-row Pilsner barley with German Magnum and Hallarta Mittelfrüh noble hops, creating a very well balanced Pilsner. Winner of the bronze, we were saying that earlier, is perfect for a day at the beach or a tailgate. Keep and serve cold as hail. Available in 12-ounce 6-packs all around the Florida area. And then as Blake was saying, it goes good with blackened grouper, Cuban sandwiches, and spicy wings.
I don't think paired with Cuban sandwiches I've ever seen on any beer.
That's accurate.
In Florida, you will.
Yes, that's awesome.
In Florida, you will. Real quick about, you can visit bigstormbrewing.com, I believe is the full site.
Brewery.
Brewery, thank you, yep. a little bit of their history there. I believe the guy that actually started this went to Clearwater Central Catholic, which is the Catholic school from where I'm from. I went to the public school, Clearwater High, but I believe if I heard people right, he's from there. But his Big Storm Brewing Company is one of the fastest growing independent craft breweries in Florida. Founded in 2012 by Mike Bishop, Big Storm now has 2 brewing and taproom facilities in Tampa Bay. Led by head brewer Joe Moore, Big Storm's innovative craft beers have received critical acclaim for the past 5 consecutive years, winning 2016's Best Florida Beer Championship with the Oktoberfest Marzen Lager, which I believe, didn't we have that at?
Yes, I had the Big Storm Oktoberfest at World of Beer the day we were watching the U.S. men's national team.
Or the Pearl of Beer, as we called it on the last
the Pearl of Beer, right? Whatever.
The Pearl of Beer.
That was like 2 pods ago.
Today, that was
actually last pod.
That was last pod.
It's been a long week.
Yes.
It feels like we packed with that hurricane. It feels like a month was packed into 5 days.
We're repping at work. We had days off, and then we brought back. Home. Yeah, all sorts of stuff. Today, Big Storm is a true pioneer using local ingredients like citrus and wildflower honey, brewing more than 20 different beers, including popular Arctis IPA, which is actually the beer that I had during the hurricane. After we finished off the champagne that was in the fridge because we lost power, and my mom were doing champagne, and then we said, whatever.
Yeah, you don't want that to go to waste.
The Wave Acre Amber Ale, the one that we have in our hands, the Helicity, the Oats and Hose Oatmeal Stout. Oats and Hose.
I like that.
Yes, that was also at World of Beer.
Yes.
That one's a crazy ABV. It's like 9.8 or something.
Yeah, it's up there. Available in most local Publixes, Whole Foods, Total Wine, ABC Liquors. Big Storm is not just a craft beer, but great beer. And on all of their cans, I love that it always says... Oh, crap. No, we'll say it on this one. I know where I saw it. I said it on the packaging.
It helps if you're talking to the mic.
I saw it on the packaging. You're right. I was like, I kind of felt like, this is an audible podcast. It always has Florida's craft beer forecast. And then it says serve, keep and serve cold as hail. So this was on ice, which happened to get on Flix 4. I apologize.
It's all good. But I really like after the Hurricane Irma, you went Florida strong with the Florida beer.
That's awesome.
Good call.
Well, and that's partly the other reason why, support local.
Hashtag drink local.
It is, like I said, I'm Florida boy. You won't take me out of this state. I love this state. So I always want to support the state as much as I can.
While I was in California, all I would do is drink the local beers.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And I got a lot of. It was interesting. I don't know that the California bartenders where I happen to be we're all that big on California beers, even though California has some of the better craft brews.
Racer, like 5 and all
Ballast
those.
Point, like there's all these different good ones. And I had one.
Or Bear Republic. Racer 5 is one of their styles, but Bear Republic.
Yeah, I had an IPA from Angel City. And when I ordered it, they were like, "Are you sure you want that one?" And I was like, "Yeah, drink local, right?" And they were like, "Yeah, I mean, I guess." And it was a phenomenal IPA. It was great. But it was so interesting to see some of the bartenders are like, "Ugh."
I think if you were somewhere like Sacramento, that would not have been what happened.
I don't know. I mean, outside of Los Angeles, you would figure. I mean, it's a gigantic city. Why?
It's true.
Oh, yeah.
There are so many breweries right in LA. You would figure they would be a little more excited about that.
Well, they don't even support 2 soccer teams, Ron, so I don't know if they...
Nor do they...
Nor
the NFL.
Yeah.
Nor the NFL.
So, I mean...
All right, fair enough.
We just lost all our California or LA listeners. Yeah. Maybe that's just said something. Maybe you just... When they're like, man, why can't we get a sports team in LA to work? Yeah.
Guys, do you see this nail? There's a head right there.
Boom.
I'm going to hit it.
You just hit it. Because, tell you what, Orlando jumped behind Orlando City Soccer Club. Orlando's very big behind their local breweries, too.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, so Big Storm Brewery, Pilsner, Helicity Lager. It is hard to say the first time you read it. Helicity Lager. All right, here we go. Oh, yeah. Spill that beer right on my iPad. Perfect.
Pulled the Ferris. Normally, he's the one spilling it all over himself.
This thing is pretty.
Where does he say that? It just drips right onto my shirt.
It's okay. My Arsenal jersey now has beer on it too, so it's fine.
That's not from this. That's from you getting very mad.
No, I was wearing a Bournemouth jersey that day.
Oh, that's true. You were.
I was protesting.
Yeah, he got hate cake all over that one.
I got hate
cake and rum all over that one.
All over that Bournemouth jersey. All right. Wow, this thing is beautiful looking. Golden, like not a light gold. Dark.
Yeah, a little bit darker than you would normally expect.
A good Pilsner color.
Excellent head retention.
And its clarity is actually way better for a Helles lager than you would expect too. So that's interesting.
Shall we?
I think we shall.
Cheers, gents.
Sláinte.
Glad you guys all made it out
Sláinte.
safely. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. Drink local.
That's right.
That is crisp.
Whoa, they do use local honey. I can that right up front.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa. That honey, there's honey in this, right? I mean, you said they used like local ingredients, but I've definitely got like a honey vibe.
Yeah.
The smell, it's not the taste. It's not sweet. I don't mean to say that, but
It's
this is a Pilsner that has a lot going on for it. That's freaking tasty. I like Big Storm. Have they had anything from them? I didn't like.
No, I haven't either.
Ooh,
Very
man.
good.
Dang, that was good.
It's what did I say? It was crisp, refreshing, dry finish maybe or something. That's exactly what it is. Very good.
I mean, you shouldn't sound so shocked, but it's true.
No, it's
sometimes
true, right.
the description, it's wonderful when they literally line up as they should.
Right.
You're like, that is not a marketing term. That is exactly
Right.
what it tastes like.
Which is the case for this one.
Hey, speaking of it's just like it tastes like, first match, Liverpool loses 0-5.
They don't hold on. They don't just lose.
Wait. Liverpool, the new Arsenal of this year. Because last week, Arsenal was the new Liverpool.
Nobody can outdo the Arsenal at their own game. Come on.
My buddy who's a Liverpool fan, when the season started, I was like, I feel like you and our team, we're going to score like 5 goals and get beat still because we'll have no defense.
Here's the difference. If you want to read the headline first, and then I'll tell you what the difference is.
The headline is, City's young studs make easy work of Liverpool.
Studs refers to an red card in the first half, which Arsenal did not have
Boot
against
to the
Liverpool.
Head. Wah.
Correct.
Now, this was...
You like that little professor? What was that? Dr.
Professor?
What's that? A boot to the head.
Boot to the head. Oh my God.
I can't. It's some old sketch show.
Yeah. It was like a military training radio, like a radio saga.
Yeah.
That was.
And the guy went to a dojo.
Yes.
And he's like,
I want to kick people's butt.
Boot to the head. Yeah. Because when I saw this hit, that's the first thing I thought of.
Isn't that Royal Canadian Air Force?
Maybe it is. And
I thought of the picture you have up there, and this is like just a Zlatan high kick to the face.
I don't even see that picture anymore.
That's true.
Just boot to the head. Yeah. A rather interesting use of a high kick. Now, what's crazy is that was actually hotly debated as whether that was a straight red or not.
I don't understand why it was, though.
The two Robbies say it is not, or am I getting it backwards?
It's I didn't listen to the podcast yet, so I'm not sure. It endangered the player.
Yeah.
And nowhere does it say intent in laws, from my understanding. It was clearly
and
endangered.
who's the famous
whether he meant to do it or not, it endangered the player.
But who's the famous reporter that said this is going to cause confusion? And then it did, because the next day there was another boot to the head and no red card.
You had a lot of former players coming out saying that it was not a red. Gary
he
Lineker,
wasn't
Phil
looking-
Neville,
yeah.
Stan Cullimore were some of the ones that basically said, well, all of them had the underlying of he was looking at the ball the entire time, so the intent wasn't there, and he's not that kind of player. True.
But if you endangered,
you endangered the player. Your boot was very high. You were studs showing, and it connected with the player's face, that's a red.
Right.
Regardless, I mean, I think it was clear that he didn't mean to do it. He didn't mean to kick the guy in the head. It's not like he intentionally did it. Yes, but it's still a red.
Yeah. So why did you say you didn't understand why it wasn't a red?
No, there was debate.
There was debate. I don't understand why there was a debate.
Okay. Gotcha.
Like it's not necessarily like one of those like, oh, it's a clear red, blah, blah, blah. Yes, it was a clear red, but it wasn't because of this and that.
It wasn't malicious, but it was still endangerment of the player. Correct.
I apologize. I meant to save this, but there's a famous British commentator of football that said, like, anyway, I can't think.
Ian Dark?
No, it wasn't Ian Dark, but it said like this is going to cause confusion.
Gary Taphouse.
Because Samsonite. I was way off.
Gary Taphouse does the games.
It could be.
I think it was him.
But at any rate, he said this would cause confusion, and the next day his tweet was reshared because people were like, "Well, he was right." Because the next day, I mean, I think it's valid to jump to this game just a little bit, but we'll go back to Manchester Liverpool. But in the which match was it?
The Swansea game? Was that the one where?
Yes, it was it was a Swansea match. Why am I losing it? Who did Swansea play?
Newcastle.
And the same thing happened. Not going for the ball, not looking up, not looking at the player. I mean,
right.
Looking at the ball, studs up into the face, yellow card.
A lot of people said it could have been that he went studs with an outfield player opposed to a goalie, and goalies are a protected species in soccer.
Yeah,
I know it's still endangerment. Especially if it makes
absolutely.
Especially
I think that should have been a red.
Especially if it makes contact.
Which it didn't as much as
still
this one. It still did.
It's either you made contact or you didn't. Not as much. That's like saying I'm partially pregnant.
Blake?
Oh no, I'm still out on that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Hand me another beer.
Just making sure. No, I agree. It should have been a red. It also
I want a
helped.
Cuban sandwich now with ice cream.
Oh. A Pilsner, a Cuban, and an ice cream.
Yeah, no, I'm fine.
It also helped that in the Swansea game, I believe it was Alfie Morrison didn't make a meal of it. He didn't go down and roll around like he'd just been shot. He kind of just got on with it. And so it was like this was a direct hit to Ederson's face, which luckily, I believe it was in the second half, he came back out to the bench to all bandage up. So you always, I mean, studs to the face is if you ever get gotten studs to like the shin or the foot or something, they hurt. Imagine taking that to the face. Like, thankfully, he wasn't hurt more. His neck tattoo covered half of it anyways. But,
his Mike Tyson.
Right. So, I mean, all seriousness, it was good that he came out. Man City was already up 1-0 off of an Aguero goal. And then Gabriel Jesus and Sane, both young, just awesome players for them, added on to that after the card. But what was really weird is Liverpool, even going down, you usually go defensive and you pack the center, and then you can build out and maybe counter from there and hope to get an equalizer, maybe a win, and try to keep the score somewhat respectable. This got away because there were balls being played right down the center. I mean, Kevin De Bruyne's, what he sees on the field is amazing. And how he sees some of those passes, and they just tore Liverpool apart. Most of it was right down the center.
Right.
Pack that in there.
Gary Lineker was the one who said that, by the way.
That's what I said earlier.
Is that what you said earlier?
Yeah. Okay. Well, I said that he was one of the ones that was like,
that was like,
this could,
because he said it'll cause confusion. Anyway, I was trying to find who it was. That's who it was. But in my searching, I didn't realize Sane had been given a 3-match ban.
It was upheld today.
Yeah,
I believe they tried to, but because it's red card. Yes, you didn't mean to do it.
It was
but
an
it's
odd
still
one
a red.
to go after the repeal. I don't know why they went after the
especially when you see like stills of like foot, face, stud.
But you just said it that you're confused why it isn't just a straight up. But Liverpool thought it worth going after a repeal. So it
doesn't hurt to appeal. There's not you can only appeal 2 times throughout the season. I don't think
that clearly means there was some sort of confusion. But to me, I just don't understand.
I don't know how there's
Have you
confusion.
seen the tape? Have you seen the pictures?
I don't.
Well, because here's where in the run of play, they're like, it's slow, it's obvious, it's speed, And I'm like, are we breaking
the ref
that
caught
down
it
now?
at the run of play.
That's what I said. And
he was dead on with it.
But then it also made it confusing for the Swansea match because shouldn't that have been a
yes,
straight
it should
red
have.
too?
I think that was just a missed call.
And really, that's bad on the ref in the Swansea game.
Right.
Not the Liverpool
Not
match.
the other way around, right. But Liverpool still has to...
I've been looking for his tweets, but they are rubbish. Rubbish decision to send off Mane. Rubbish. He was upset.
I got to take him out of my fantasy now.
Yeah.
Now, are you more upset he got sent off, or are you more upset that we didn't see a game to where they both could have just been like a 5-4 type of game? Because for a while, it was kind of looking like that, because Liverpool had chances, even though they were down, and to have two potent offensives going that way. But Liverpool, in my opinion, are always going to be the worst for wear in this game, because defensively, they're going to struggle this year.
Yeah, but here's also the thing, and I've said this a bunch last year. I'll say it again this year. The best players per position in a single team in the Premier League probably do belong to Man City and have.
Yes.
But for whatever reason, it is only on occasion, and that day was one of them.
And can Pep continually keep that going all year?
Play like the team that their names of the players say they should.
Like the paperwork shows.
Yes, on paper, they should be owning it. That team should be running away with the Premier League 15, 20 points by the end of the season. But they're going to lose or draw to like a Bournemouth in 2 weeks. Like, this is...
They almost lost to them the last game. Yeah.
Exactly.
They pulled out that
Man
tie
City.
in the last gasp of stoppage time.
And then here they demolish Klopp's team. It's so strange to me. I don't know why, because if they could click, good Lord, they'll be doing this to everybody. They look fantastic.
You also have to look at Klopp. Again, I mentioned a lot of the goals and as the game went on, even though they were down a man, were right down the center. If you pack in the center, it's not going to get carried away. Yes, you still may lose the game, but you have to keep in mind, these teams also play for goal difference. Right. That comes in big at the end of the year.
Yeah, it was interesting
so why do you want to get just...
Klopp lost despite himself, as opposed to, like you're saying, packing up and try and get him on the break or the counter. Instead, he just kind of opened the front door and said, go for it.
And a Liverpool that'll be fighting for that fourth, most likely between that fourth to sixth place. You just said it. A goal differential like this could be the decision between Champions League or not.
And you also have to look at his tactics going into this game. He changed up his goal. He went back to Mignolet, who didn't have the greatest of games. He made some very good saves against a potent offense, but when you're getting attacked that much, any decent goalie is going to come up with some of those saves. But he changed some of the defense as well. Matchweek and Moreno were the only two that started this game and the Arsenal game.
What
Ragnar
about
Klavan and Alexander Arnold came into this game opposed to Lovren and Joe Gomez. So changing your back five with the goalie and changing three out of that back five, did it have something to do with it? Maybe. Consistency in a defense and in a goalie is huge and goes a long way.
I also just think Man City was incredibly on.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, Liverpool made some choices that, but
Aguero,
Man
Jesus,
City,
De Bruyne.
What about the Aguero could have totally made the goal and chipped it over to Jesus?
That was great to see.
It was
and it was great to see because I got more fantasy points for it too.
Yeah. But Man City looked like a team. If they played like that every week, they'd be so exciting to watch. But it's not even just that they will play 70% that well. They can go play against a newly promoted club and play 30% that well. It's the weirdest thing.
They're just inconsistent.
Yeah. So, which is just
30%
crazy.
30% of the time, every time.
30% of the time, every time.
And sometimes that 30% is enough.
Yeah.
Other times it is woefully lacking.
Like last year.
I do love your I'm reading down your headlines. I hadn't read them all. I like your headlines. So should we read the next one?
Go ahead.
Danny Boy brings Arsenal back to winning ways.
Well, way.
True, because they only
No.
ways. Well,
Yeah.
no, that's the right way to say it, but I think Ron's saying that it's only a game.
Yeah.
It's only one
I
after
don't-
them.
Well, they've won more than one game, is what I meant. So ways.
And poor Bournemouth, they're struggling off the start.
Here's the thing. I don't care. They beat a team that is sitting at the bottom of the table. Whatever. like
wow, jeez.
I was like, I mean,
Sounds
just-
morbid after 3 points.
well, you know,
but you got to take those 3 points wherever you
Sure.
go.
Yeah.
you
'Cause
take
those 3 points will be the difference between 2nd and 6th.
or 7th and 9th. We'll see. We're sitting squarely.
If we were
or
3 pods back,
or
or
s-
19th or 20th.
I was going to say 17 or 18.
Exactly.
I'll say this to tie into the previous Liverpool match. Have fun with Ox. I'm not saying Ox is bad, but not forcing Ox to play out of position at Arsenal and not having Sanchez.
He was on the
Despite
bench in this game.
he was, despite
For a
the
majority.
fact Bournemouth is a struggling team. I liked the way that lineup played for Arsenal. And it might be that Sanchez becomes like a Dimitri Payet situation, and it might be better to not play your best player because they look better and more cohesive on the pitch without him. Again, it's against Bournemouth.
Mhm.
I'd have to see that against a better team, but I mean, they certainly to me looked better without.
Still want to see Lacazette and Sanchez play a full match together, though.
Absolutely.
And his goal in this, not Sanchez, Lacazette's goal in this was beautifully taken. And he got subbed off, I think, for Sanchez, if I wasn't I'm not mistaken.
That might be right.
Um,
Well, I don't know. Sanchez and Giroud came on at the same time.
Giroud came on for,
Yeah.
and then Sanchez came on for Danny. But yeah, it was about the same time. I like to see them. It's against Bournemouth. They're struggling at the start of this year. I think they have 1 draw and 3 losses, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And they may even actually have lost all 4 now that I think about it. Because they
I think they. No, it was the draw of Man City, right?
No, that was the loss. Remember, that was the 2-1
they were going to
late.
get the draw.
Right. This was a loss. I believe they lost all 4. But they're struggling. It's what Arsenal can do against the top 4, the top 6 teams. That's still yet to be seen.
Yeah. I'm just saying,
Shown.
I like the way this group played together. Ox, I think, was a good sell for Arsenal because he didn't quite seem to fit into their.
They have lost
Team.
all 4.
Yeah.
Well, and you had a back 4 that made sense. Shalini Mustafi played together.
4,
And
by the
then-
way, not 3.
Monreal and Kalishanak. He looks great.
Actually,
He looks great.
it was kind of a back 3 with Kolasinac.
I think he pushed a little bit higher
He played
up.
like a defending midfielder.
Yeah, but he still played off to he almost played like a wing back.
Yeah.
Wing back.
And I like
A
that because
wing back
is fast.
hybrid role, right? And he played with Bellerin as well. So you had a lot of defense out there, but people can also get up and down the pitch. It made more sense against a Bournemouth. You know, again, how's he going to play against a Tottenham?
We'll
Or
find out.
whatever.
Chelsea
All
this
right.
Sunday.
True.
By the way, the boot to the head from the Frantics, which is the other Canadian radio farce people.
Boot to the head. Look it up on YouTube or something.
Yep, just look up boot to the head.
It's a funny little
It is
sketch.
hysterical.
Boot to the head. Whoosh. That makes me happy. Boots to the head.
Speaking of,
The goals. Brighton and Hove Albion. 3-1 over West Brom. West Brom. West Brom. Hey guys, where are we at? Is West Brom playing the long ball? I'm gonna go back and take a nap again.
Yep.
and I really liked what the Gulls were doing on this. They were making these really slick overlapping runs, like these overlapping diagonals that were really just just confusing the crap out of the back line for West Brom. And every time I just kept thinking, where'd who go? Because they would just break through that line, and that the score could have been way higher than it was. They just weren't as lucky on all their shots.
I still love their stadium, right?
And
beautiful.
And their first win in the Premier League came at home in a beautiful stadium, great atmosphere, just an awesome win. I was at work, and we were getting obviously prepared for
Hurricane.
Thank you. And I texted our friend Zach there because he's the one that went all in and bought car flags and phone covers and goals. And I said, hey, man, are you watching this? Because I had just happened to see the score. And he's like, yeah, man, I woke up my girlfriend because I was yelling. I was so excited. And he's like, oh, go goals, baby. It's 3 points. And he was so excited. I'm like, good. Like, that's awesome.
It's over. His life is over.
His life, he's in. I was talking to him. I saw him today at work, and I was talking to him, and he was like, oh, did you see the news on Palace and blah, blah, blah? And I'm just like,
oh, you're in, dude.
That's not the goals. That's Palace. So
he's hooked.
You're hooked. You're in.
Yep.
And great win for
he's got
the goals.
Promoted team that I feel like is going to make it. They'll be safe this season, I think.
We'll see. I said the thing.
There's a long way to go.
Long way to go. That's the thing you want to hope for is just you want 17th place bad. That's all you need.
I just think there's a lot of other teams that look a lot worse. That's why I feel like this year could be the year that if you're like struggling, you scoot by because there are 3 or 4 teams that stink.
Well, right now they're in 14th. Their record is 1-1-2. They are above the likes of Everton and Leicester. So they're at the moment 4 games in. They're doing pretty good.
Yeah. It could be worse for them.
It could be a lot worse. And it just might get that way.
Yeah.
Speaking of it could get worse. I love your headlines. Kane's double proves he can't score in August.
And he can.
No, he can't.
It's so
and
crazy.
His first goal, and this was an attempted cross that happened to go in.
It was amazing.
It was like, if that was in August, that would have gone in like the 3rd row of the stands.
That would have been Revised into orbit.
A Harry Kane brace leads Tottenham away 3-0 over Everton. What is it about the calendar? But the fact that he scores a brace.
Exactly. That's what I mean. Like, it makes no sense. And he does not ever score in August. This isn't like since he's been in the Premier League, he has not scored in August.
So here's
so weird.
Here's what happened. Harry Kane is just getting started as a footballer, and he goes into like the back of Mrs. Miggin's pie shop kind of thing. And he's like,
Miggin's pie shop.
He's like, I need to be the greatest footballer. And she's like, oh, we'll make a deal. Right. And he ends up selling
time with Papa Ron.
He ends up, doing some sort of witchcrafty thing, and it all backfires. He becomes a great footballer, but August is his Achilles heel.
Just bench him through the month of August.
Yeah, just
rest him.
Just
rest him up.
Why the hell not?
Sir,
because now he's going to go on like a 30-goal rant and win Golden Boot again, and you're like, "What? You didn't score? What? Huh?"
Right.
Here's the underlying.
There were 3 games. It's not like there was 1 game played in August. There's always 3 games in August.
Yep.
With the exception of not being able to find a replacement for Lukaku, Everton made some decent moves in the offseason. They're not looking good.
No, they still got a ways to go. They have nobody up front still. They don't have that Lukaku who could just pound in goals anywhere in the box. Rooney coming off of a freshly mint DUI charge didn't quite look as good in this game, but he's not of the age.
Rooney with a what?
A DUI charge.
Like, I'm not laughing, but I feel like it's like, oh crap, that's like number 12. Well,
the dude can get a. I think it was. I was talking to our friend Phil, and he's like, "You're Wayne Rooney in England. You're smashed at a pub.
You got a personal
just
driver.
Turn anywhere around you and be like, can somebody give me a ride home?" And you probably have 30 people like, "Oh, I'll give you a ride home, Wayne." Yep, sure.
They'll be fighting over
exactly. Like in.
Now you
and that's not to mention you make millions of dollars and can't pay for like a helicopter to come to the bar and get you per night.
By the way,
you get a ride for free.
You can Uber.
Yeah.
Like, that's half the point of
You're
Uber.
Wayne Rooney in England. Turn around. Hey,
Right.
can anybody take me home? I'm a little smashed. Oh, yeah, come on, Wayne, let's go.
You could just give the cab, like, hey, here, when I call, just be right here. But now you know what's going to
You
happen?
could rent a jet if you wanted to.
All
just
these
to get
people
home
that
from
live in Liverpool that are Everton fans, if they're ever out hanging out and they see Wayne having drinks, they're gonna be like, we watch him. That boy stopped drinking. We're gonna wait, and if he looks like he can barely walk, we make sure we give him a drive home because we can't afford to lose him for any matches.
No, and they just didn't really seem to click, which you kind of get this a lot of teams that come back from the international break.
But he is playing next weekend, right? For Man U?
He'll be back, yeah.
Yeah.
For who?
He plays for Everton
Oh,
at
at Man U.
Yeah,
Okay. I was like,
the return back to Manchester United. Yeah. No, but Everton's, yeah, they got a little work to do.
And they're going to be on that. Are they going to get in sixth? Are they not? Because they're not strong enough to make top four. At least that's what we all thought
at the moment
at this time, right? But they need a little bit more. They need that center forward.
Mm-hmm.
They would have gotten Giroud as like their last signing. That would have been big.
And there was the talk, I think, that was this signing would make sense. And it would make sense for Arsenal perhaps to unload Giroud because they had brought in Lacazette. But I don't even know if there was any buzz that Everton actually went after him. That being said, I'm glad Arsenal kept Giroud. I like that, man. All right, next up, Chelsea and Leicester at Leicester. So Vardy and Mahrez want to come to Chelsea too? Question mark.
In case you don't know, Danny Drinkwater signed with Chelsea on deadline day.
Yep.
And joins N'Golo Kante.
which
It's halfway to the team that won Leicester's thing. So Mahrez and Varys, come on. Or, what did I just say?
Mahrez and Vardy?
Mahrez and Vardy. I think I combined the two.
you said Mahrez and Varez.
I like
Come
Marty.
on over to the bridge.
I like
This is
Marty
what we
and
can do.
Mahrez.
But that's going to be, once those two guys get spun up together, that is going to be a killer good midfield. Along with Fabregas, that midfield at Chelsea is going to be ridiculous.
And Chelsea owns that one 2-1.
And
With
really,
the Conte goal to seal it.
Yeah.
Right. And they dominated that match for the most part. It was the Vardy goal was a PK at the very end, and it was deserved. It wasn't, but it was the overall tone of the game should have been a clean sheet.
Leicester, I don't know. Still, well, they're playing Chelsea, so it's not like they're playing these slouches.
And they hung on to Vardy and Mahrez. They lost Drinkwater, which was a loss for them. They'll be mid-table.
Well, right now they just fell into 17th place.
Yeah, but I feel like they'll finish mid-table.
I think they'll eventually pick up.
Too much quality to be
There's too
down
many
there with some
Crystal
of their
Palace
teams,
and Swansea sitting below them. They'll be safe. They'll be safe. Is there anything else to say about that match?
Other than the sheer amazingness of it? No.
Alvaro Morata.
Yeah.
Man, he's fun to watch. He's fun to watch.
So creative. He and Fabregas are linking up like crazy.
And Chelsea quietly creeping right back up. Everybody's like, Man United, and what a start. And there's Chelsea creeping right up to that spot.
That's accurate.
No Costa, no problem.
No Costa, no problem.
And
where is he now?
I don't know. He's sitting
Bobo Brazil somewhere.
at
Who the hell
home, being Mortimer Mouse. 'Cause that's what he looks like. Sorry about that one.
Oh man, that's awesome.
But Chelsea not having a problem playing on either front at the moment because Champions League started today or played today, and they won 6-0. Boom! So Chelsea
against
Karabag.
Don't say the Manchester United score yet. I still have it on record.
I didn't know.
We're not allowed to talk about.
I actually
any
don't
of that.
know that. I didn't check that goal.
I know
but
that.
Traditionally, whenever Chelsea wins large at the Champions League, it doesn't bode as well for them their next Premier League match. Let's hope that's the case.
That's not the case.
You're not going to score 12 goals in 1 week
Against your flaccid team, I don't think it's going to be a problem.
So real quick, Diego Costa.
That was a whole-
I don't know. I was like, hold on. How am I going to phrase this? Okay.
He was all arms.
Give me Costa. If Costa plays a Bond villain, give me who would play the Bond.
If Costa's the Bond villain,
Who would play
Harry
as Bond?
Kane.
Oh, you stole mine.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ugh.
You're gonna go Kane as well.
No, I'm trying to be creative. I don't know. Come back to me. You think of a better one.
I can't. He stole mine.
I mean,
Does he have to be English though?
Can't be Wayne Rooney. He's too ugly.
The name's Bond.
James Bond.
He has a picture of himself on a popsicle stick.
I mean, I love Wayne. He's
If it's the Kingsman, it could be Jamie Vardy.
I was about to say yes.
Yeah, there you go.
It's not. He's not quite Bond material.
If it was the Kingsman, though, that totally would work.
I could say if Murata was English, I could see him being a Bond.
How about if he's kind of English. Gareth Bale.
Good one, Welsh. Sean Connery was
Right, we've had
Welsh,
Scotch.
right?
We know he's Scottish,
Ooh,
so we've had
good
a
one.
Scottish Bonds, and then we have a Welsh Bond. That'll work.
And
Good one.
I think that's the first bearded Bond then.
Yes.
Because Sean Connery was clean faced.
Oh, he was clean faced for the role.
Right. So
Gareth Bale.
If it was Gareth Bale,
He'd be the first Bond with a man bun.
That's accurate.
This is true.
But I'm willing to bet his man bun would be its own weapon.
Ferris just twitched. He's a big Bond fan.
Speaking
He's
of
like, wait,
buns
Bond with a
and that type of thing,
Oh wait, where are we going?
Giroux wouldn't be a bad Bond either.
Oh no, he
looks great in a suit.
Giroux would be who's the weird sexy guy at the baccarat table? That's like, is he with the bad guy? The inventor? No, I'm with the French intelligence.
Right. Yeah, he'd
Hello,
totally be
Mr. Bond.
the guy-
I know who you are.
the guy Bond goes. So
So you think he's a bad guy, but then you find out
Yeah,
oh
he's
no.
actually
It's
playing
like
for the same, yeah.
it's the Felix who's the CIA version of
Exactly.
that.
Right.
But it's the French version. There you go.
That made Clint Dempsey.
We can
our
totally.
Felix.
No.
And the main villain though is now,
Who'd
who
be
did you
our
say
Felix?
Costa is like he's not the villain. Costa
He's not the villain.
He's
No.
the right hand man.
He's the right hand man.
Oh,
he's
the
he's
henchman.
Jaws.
So then it goes like Zlatan
he's-
and
I think Zlatan
Costa?
is
Yeah.
I think it's the guy, the mid battle, then the next to top battle is Zlatan
Right.
with his kung fu. And then it's
Clearly.
Then who's the villain?
Then you would have
Mourinho.
Yes, Jose friggin' Mourinho, without a doubt, because he's an a-hole, don't know how to shake nobody's hand.
Oh, we'll get to that. We'll get to that. We'll get to that.
Totally Jose Mourinho. Oh my God. This is a great Bond movie.
Match night. That's all you need.
Night! Oh my God. That's great.
Now that we've recast the entire
think-
James Bond universe.
I think Zlatan, though, you beat him in the end because he lets you win because you find out Mourinho had like his family captive and it's the only reason that he was a bad guy. So in the end, you get an awesome fight with back-to-back Harry Kane Bond and Zlatan kicking everybody's butt. to get
See,
Mourinho.
I have a different approach to this here. I
This
think
here?
I think you actually beat him through circumstances that are extra. So like
You didn't beat him like
there's a bombing run coming, right? And so you happen to push him, you're fighting him, you happen to push him into the path of the napalm. And so at the very end of the movie, he's like half burned. Because then
Zlatan.
right, because
Will
then,
return.
right. And he's gonna be like half android now. And
Oh, one could only hope for that.
That's how you create the modern Jaws character.
there you go.
Boom.
See? I'm
Bond will return, and so will Zlatan. I'm down for it.
yeah, but I don't think you could call him Zlatan. You got to call him like Z
Z.
because everybody's got like cool names like that. And Zlatan's a cool name. It's just too hard to say.
Yeah, Z. Oh, I love it.
And it's better than Zlat.
Zlatty.
Yeah, Zlat.
Zlatty old boy. That's what Mourinho calls him, and especially secretly hates him.
Yeah, there you go. And he's back there punching his cat.
Yeah. Mourinho totally has a cat. That's awesome. I just loved recasting Bond. It was fantastic. Let's see. Watford sink Southampton on their way to fourth.
2-0 win over Southampton.
Away for Watford.
Watford quietly having a really good year.
Yeah.
And you know what that's
speaking of
down
that-
to, I think?
Manager?
Marco Silva.
Yeah.
I agree.
Quality, man.
I agree. That and
These guys to
Southampton
play.
was. Did they actually show up on time for this match? Because
I didn't even know they were like actually in the stadium.
They were on that same bus that Arsenal rode in to play Liverpool that day. That's what was
Man.
going on. It was that bus.
I think that's all that needs to be said about that one. Watford's doing really well.
Sneaky good.
Yeah.
Next up, a match that put a smile on my face. Cameroonians number 2 soils United's clean sheet streak. That's a great headline. It's brilliant. Almost your best one.
Almost.
Stoke City 2, man. Manchester United 2. Dun, dun, dun.
Stoke's always difficult to play at home, as Arsenal found out this year.
Mm-hmm.
And the
Stoke also has had Manchester, much like the Arsenal situation, has had their number. Their previous matches, I was like, ooh, actually, they've been giving Man U quite a fit lately.
And Manchester United can score. It was the defensive woes in this game that kind of were shown. Bailly got beat once. Jones got beat once. Both of them have played very well so far. Darmian was off on one side. Darmian hasn't started a match yet. It's been Blind. It was interesting. They didn't necessarily play bad. I just don't think they were quite defensively. They weren't up to the par where they have been for the first 3 games. It's not a loss. It's a draw. I'll take it. It's a long year. Rashford got on the sheet, and Lukaku again got on the score sheet.
The back of Rashford's head got on the score sheet.
Yeah, it should have gone down to Pogba. But nonetheless, I think that ball was going to go in regardless of went off his head or not. Little concerning that they were up 2-1 and then gave it away 2-2. Yeah. Again, that's just the defensive woes here were a little bit.
There's also I can't completely back this up because it would be telling Ferris tales that he hasn't really seen yet. But Manchester United, throughout the entirety of their season so far, has had a show-off streak where they're doing all these slick moves to do slick moves. And in this match particularly, I think it really caught up to them because instead of playing basic passes and build up like they had been doing to be so successful.
Which is weird for a Mourinho team. Usually it's
much
simply.
More right.
Yeah.
And it's much more disciplined. There's starting to be like the Harlem Globetrotters kind of thing. They're doing all these like little trick things, kicking it back up over your heel to get around a defender. And sometimes it works and you're a hero. Sometimes it doesn't work and you give the ball away cheaply. So this is going to be interesting watching Manchester United when they are up and they start doing this kind of thing, how that's going to affect them going forward.
It's easy to do that at home, where Old Trafford's a fortress, and you know they can get away with that. At Stoke's not an easy place to go.
Right.
So yeah, I didn't watch all of this game because I was at work and stuff. So
but I think if that becomes a habit with them, no matter where they do it. If that becomes a habit, it doesn't matter where they do it. If they're doing it against a quality team, that quality team is going to make them pay for it.
Yeah.
And you've got a lot of, shall I say, slightly ego-driven players
Speaking of
your what?
Slightly ego-driven players. I don't know if this is true, but I'm going to quote it because they quote Zlatan. And this is what says something about Zlatan. I read this quote and go, that's fake. Well, maybe he would say it.
Z?
Yeah, Zlatan. Lukaku is better than me. You make me laugh. My nose is bigger than his career.
That's definitely a Zlatan quote. That is definitely a Zlatan quote. That sounds exactly like something he would say.
It's from brilliant. A Twitter handle called Zlatan Facts. And I'm like, is that... you know what? It says something about the man that I question that it could be true.
He has said similar things before.
Yeah.
My nose is bigger than his career. Can we do Cyrano de Bergerac just straight up and cast him as Cyrano? That'd be fantastic.
So that makes Manchester United stays at the top of the table on 10 points. With Man City right behind him at 2 on 10 points, and then Chelsea at 9 rounds up your top 3. So the fight for the top 4 all within 2 points of each other. So
it's close
early.
And our next match is a shame it's not the final match because it's the best headline that Ferris wrote. Do you want to read it?
Sure.
I feel like you earned it.
Early wood leads De Boer to the sack.
I like that we do punchline scramble for these headlines.
Oh, man.
It's brilliant.
And how excited I was when I was watching the Burnley game. I went, did Chris Wood just score early? Yes! Yes! It's another good headline. More headlines.
And none of us had him to go down to get the sack first.
Oh, De Boer?
I checked. None of us did.
Swansea.
I had Village.
Yeah.
Who's still close?
I had it somewhere. Hold on. Yeah, I checked because when you sent that text, I was like, "Ooh, did somebody have De Boer?"
No, I don't think any of us thought Crystal Palace was going to collapse.
I had Mark Hughes at Stoke.
So, but 4 games in, is this warranted?
I don't think so. I was thinking the same thing.
I don't think they had confidence in him going into the year.
It says,
Palace had a lot of chances in this game. They just didn't.
To me, it says there were more problems behind the scenes or prior to the season starting. Because
yes,
4 games in. I mean, look, Crystal Palace looks dire, but they're not alone in that situation. There are other teams looking rough.
And the goal that they were scored against was a very fortuitous goal in terms of it was a back pass that just was a bad back pass.
Probably should have been 0-0.
Chris Wood, being an aware up front man, got onto it and chipped the goal. It was just
Chris Wood is probably the signing that will ensure Burnley does not get relegated.
And
wow,
and where did this come from? Everybody goes, you gave up Andre Gray, your star young player. Oh, we'll just sign the leading goal scorer in the division below, which is a brutal division.
Right.
And he's coming up with these goals. He's just a scrappy,
but I think,
striker that is perfect for Burnley.
It'd be perfect if you did you get a 6-pack?
Oh, I did. Yes.
Yes. I will take another one as we move on to, speaking of dire, Swansea City loses to Newcastle. And the headline is, Lascelles saves, Lascelles scores.
Which, if you watch this game, Lascelles stopped a goal, literally played goalie for a second.
Sliding into the back post and makes an incredible save to keep it scoreless, and then turns around and puts one in the back of the net.
Thumping header.
And that was...
Thank you, sir.
He's the man.
I saw a... in the
fun match, by the way, this Newcastle Swansea match.
Yeah,
both teams just had the like, I have to win. That was the attitude. Was we have to win, and it made for a very fun match to watch.
Well, and I
which is weird because you don't expect Swansea matches are going to be that much fun.
No. But today at work, I saw a guy wearing one of the new Swansea kits, and he was just walking by, and I turned to him. I said, "How did you guys not score on Sunday?" Because they had chances. The play that we were just saying, Lascelles saved it because Abraham, I believe, was a one-on-one with the goalie, went around the goal, and you're like, it's an easy tap-in.
Right. And he came sliding out of nowhere.
Came out of nowhere and slid and saved it. And they had chances. It's just, how the hell did they not put the ball in the back of the net?
It's just one of those days you couldn't buy the goal.
Right. And Swansea's going to be fine, I think, now, because they used that Gylfi cash very well. They signed a very young player on loan from Bayern Munich, Renato Sanchez, who, if you don't remember, the Portugal Euro that they won 2 years ago, he was a big part of there. At Byron, getting into that squad alone is just tough. He's still very, very young. He started in this game. He played a little bit of errant passes here and there, but he's going to be a great signing for them. And then a fan favorite of theirs, Wilfred Bonny, came back to the club on a permanent deal. They have somebody up front now with Abraham. I think they're going to be fine.
It's what they were missing last year.
Yeah, I think they're going to be fine. They use that money very, very well. So, yes, they lost 1-0 to Newcastle early, but they had plenty of chances.
They, unlike unlike some of the other situations, some of the dire teams like Bournemouth and stuff, pardon me, Swansea gives you the impression in this match alone better days are ahead of them. Whether it's enough to keep them afloat, better days are ahead of them. Bournemouth, that's not looking good. Crystal Palace,
unfortunately, no,
is I don't know.
I don't think you sack De Boer.
No, it's
3 games in. 4. 4 games in. Sorry, you have to give him a little.
Because who do you replace him with?
But obviously, this decision was made prior to going into this game. If
had to have been.
If he lost, he was done, and that was the case.
But who do you replace him with?
You have no time to implement your system. Like De Boer's trying to bring in a new system.
Right.
You have no time to bring it in. You haven't really gained a lot of players to help him with that.
And if that's the case, don't let him start the season. If you're only going to wait 4 or 5 matches in and then can him, what was the point?
What the hell's the point? Yeah. Exactly. Give him at least 10 games in.
You set him up for failure.
Who did they give it to?
The former England coach was announced today, Roy Hodgson.
Yes.
The lovable granddad.
And everybody in the pundit world went, oh, that was your, why not just stick with De Boer? Like,
or why not sign Hodgson first?
Right.
Right.
Yeah, but I mean, he's the old age of the emperor. I'm pretty positive.
But
still, there's no point in keeping your coach and your manager for 4 matches and then hamstringing him. And you're in the season, so now the morale of the team is down. And it's
you
just
tell me
Roy
Hodgins wasn't available mid-season? Like, he wasn't going to be available 5 games from now? Do you know if you knew, like, okay, yeah, with this is, because if it was 10 matches in, we'd be like, oh, well,
I just think they set him up for failure, and they should have done it before the season started.
Speaking of failure, I'm going to put this on the team that won. West Ham beat Huddersfield Town, disappointingly, 2-0. I was really rooting for the Terriers.
Yeah.
Because Sir Patrick Stewart was in the stadium.
Yep.
I want to see him go nuts. But West Ham gets a much needed win with the Ferris headline of "Welcome back to the London Stadium."
Did you see the first goal in this game?
Yes.
Yeah, that's West Ham for you.
It was. Right. Yeah, I was like, well,
a deflected shot off somebody's back, and then just
And to be honest, he shouldn't get credit for that goal. It was not going to go in. It should have been an own goal.
It was a fire from way outside the box.
Yeah,
and then the guy just kind of turned and
he did what he should have.
And it just kind of looped, and you're like,
right to the corner.
Oh, how the hell is that going in?
Yeah, West Ham got lucky against a newly promoted team. Now Huddersfield though has been playing very well for their first few matches. So I mean. And to be honest, I thought Huddersfield played West Ham fine. They got very unlucky. West Ham, again, a team that when we did our very first pod 66 episodes ago, we all thought maybe fourth place next year. Man.
But it's still a good win. It's 3 points, and they did something that they did not do a lot last year. They won their first game at home this year.
Yeah. They didn't win very much in that stadium last season.
Right, you're right. So
too many bubbles.
It's against a newly promoted
too many
team.
Bubbles with smoke. Smoke bubbles.
Smoke bubbles.
I love when I'm like multi-million-dollar Premier League team. They got that little machine that sits at Walmart by the Reese cups doing the smoke bubble.
Yeah, for Halloween.
Yeah. Jeez.
But I mean, yes, they're a bottom of the or they're a newly promoted team. But
Huddersfield's not the bottom.
Have played very well for the first 3 games.
What are they right now? 6?
They've won 2,
6.
drawn 1. This is their first loss.
Hey, Huddersfield.
So yes, it's a good win.
It's their championship to lose.
West Ham is just climbed to 18th on that win.
God bless.
Wow,
and
it's
sad.
They're 1-0-3.
Wolf.
So
I was a kind of a jerk on Twitter. I was like, does anybody else think it's sad that West?
I was like, no, I don't. It's still 3 points.
It's 3 points, but it's like, hey, I said the same thing about my own team. Arsenal
has been playing very well.
Yeah, but West Ham, it's like, yeah, they were just cheering like they had beaten like a Liverpool or a Man United.
Hey, look, they're just happy to win 1.
Yeah, friggin' hammers.
Up the hammers.
That's it for our Premier League news. I was looking for one last Ferris headline, and there wasn't one.
There's some. They're not as exciting down in the.
No, it's
MLS.
just nice
in terms of the headlines.
It's nice to have the Premier League.
The action's good.
Back from and we got some fun games on Sunday. All of our teams: Arsenal, Chelsea at 8:30, and then Everton against Manchester United for Rooney's return.
Rooney.
I can't wait
against his club again too. So.
Right.
So that'll be. Gosh, I forgot about that. Like Rooney's in my brain so much bigger. Even though Lukaku's the one scoring all the goals.
That's because Rooney has a really big head.
He does.
And Zlatan has a really big nose. It's a lot of things going on over there.
I wish Zlatan was playing because he's now going to wear Rooney's old number. He's going to wear number 10 when he comes back. He said, I think he said in the state when we re-signed him, he goes, I didn't leave. I just upgraded my number. Because he went from 9 to 10. God, I love Zlatan.
That's why I think he did say that about the nose
he's
thing with
brilliant.
Lukaku. So we'll roll over a little bit to MLS, a flight of MLS. Is that what you said? I like that. Like
It's
a beer flight?
MLS. Yeah, beer flight.
Yeah.
You get 4 games that are kind of the headline games, and then the other games are still,
Did he just figure out a section for the pod we should have had for a long time? I like that name. A flight. A flight of MLS. Well done, Ferris. I say, old bean.
thank
well
you.
done.
Piggy drink.
Piggy drink. Cheers, gentlemen.
Cheers.
Chin,
Cheers.
chin. Chin, chin. By the way, this beer's still really good.
Very good, old chap.
Bully. Bully.
Yeah.
Quite tasty.
Quite capital.
Yes. Wait.
Oh,
Yes.
thank you, Sir Godric Blake.
For Halloween, we're going to do an episode all in 1920s.
Yeah, see?
Yeah, see?
Where were you on the night of the 5th?
Yeah, I'm fixing to suppose that Liverpool's going to score today. If you're supposing to fixing that's what's going to happen. I would totally do that.
Speaking of the
That is
20s,
the sound of people turning us off.
speaking of the 20s, a few games back, our Pride beat our Noir star,
Yes.
Rose Lavelle and the
Yeah.
Boston
Yeah.
Breakers.
That was a great match.
Yeah, P.I. Krieger stopped her.
P.I. Krieger.
Yep.
Love it. All right, so a little flight of MLS. Chicago draws with the New York Red Bulls, and the headline is Big Name Strikers on Show as top of the East match ends in a stalemate. You're right. Those aren't as fun, Ferris.
Yeah.
That's
I
because
can't think of anything as... and man, plus, I've already thought of all the good ones. At this point, I'm like, all right, let's
you got to break it up over 2 days.
Yeah.
Well,
And there's not like the headlines there necessarily aren't as
yes.
enthralling yet.
Right.
Yeah, then the narratives, MLS still lacking in narrative overall.
And this game felt like it because it felt like this is just 2 teams that didn't want to lose.
Yes. So they
Because they're both at the top of the East, let's get in, whatever.
It was not a very exciting
Right.
match
No,
with
both
a
teams
lot
on
of
the-
chances, and it was just kind of ho-hum.
I mean, I thought when Bradley Wright scored early that it might be, but then it just that was it. Moving along. Ooh, Toronto
And
just destroys San Jose 4-0. Toronto puts 4 past San Jose to cruise into playoff berth.
the first ones to do it.
Woo.
I've already secured a spot.
Yep. Hey, darn Sarin, our old Orlando player, got a red card. Is that a
Surprise,
shocker?
surprise.
Didn't he get like 30 under us or something? Gosh,
He's
man.
also the dude that bit Altidore.
Oh, yeah, he
in
pulled
the,
a freaking Suarez.
Oh, no, it was
Yeah. He pulled a Suarez. Yeah, he bit Altidore.
Oh, yeah.
It
He
bit the two of
bit,
them.
and then was he also the one that pulled the
And the nipple
there?
was the other guy.
Oh.
All I know is it was ridiculous. Like, yeah.
Yep.
The nipple's always the other guy.
Good old choppers.
Yeah, choppers and the nipple twist, what happened there. Then we've got the Vancouver Whitecaps over Real Salt Lake 3-2.
I could have come up with a good headline for that.
You got one now?
No.
Oh, you could. I thought you said you had
I
one.
could have.
Well, then what is it?
Toronto FC takes a bite out of the Earthquakes.
Well, no, because Darren Sarin's the one that did the biting.
Yeah, but it was...
No, you stick with
Yeah.
what you had. That was
Yeah,
not
moving on.
I was disappointed in that
Did
one.
we say the score on that was 4-0?
4-0? Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
A lot to none.
Yeah. It was like Man City and Liverpool. Vancouver Whitecaps 3-2 over Real Salt Lake. Vancouver hold off Real in 5-goal shootout in the West. That's a fun game.
Next game of the... Yeah.
That was the more exciting game of the week there.
And then a brutal one for us, for Orlando fans anyway, because Atlanta United win 3-0 over Dallas. If they had lost, it would have helped us in our standings that we are clinging to everybody else having to lose to. So, but
They've only played 25 games. Everybody else
Yeah.
played 27, 28. So
yeah, well, it just for a little while we could have moved around the table. It's not really happening. But Atlanta United in their new home stadium played that stadium does look beautiful. And I know it's there's a complaint because it's not soccer specific because that's also where the Falcons play. But I'll say you this, it looked soccer specific. Like it looked beautiful.
Yeah, they definitely designed it for both, and which makes it really, truly a multi-purpose stadium, and that's what Atlanta needs. To be honest, Atlanta doesn't need. They're so where they want to put the stadium. There's so little room to actually do it that they really needed to do it.
Actually,
that
keep
way.
it in Atlanta, unlike other
Correct.
club like with the Braves, they don't play in Atlanta at all. Right, so this keeps it in the city, and I think that's cool.
Or like the Dallas Cowboys who play in Arlington.
Right, and that was a
kind
big
of
deal
thing.
with Orlando. There was a discussion when they were building their stadium to get money from the city or state. They were like, hey, let's do it over on the tourist district. And the club was very adamant that no, it had to be in downtown,
in the heart of the city,
for the people who live here. So I'm glad Atlanta did that. We got to plan our field trip for next season. Go up for an away game. Go see some of our listeners in Atlanta and go hang out and catch a match.
We could get up there on Saturday. I think we play, but
we do. But I'll be a little busy.
I'm going to take one weekend to not travel.
Yeah. Ron, that's what we're like.
What
hey,
state
Ron,
are you in right now?
It's your birthday. Next weekend? Let's hang out and watch Chelsea. Wait, where in the world are you actually?
Just point to a map and tell us where you'll be on Saturday.
Right. I'll be here. Thankfully.
Around the World with Ron Keller. That's our other podcast coming up.
We have Papa Ron Stories, Ron's Big Beer News, and Around the World with Ron.
Yeah, I'm going to start writing a weekly serial about Madam Miggin's Pie Shop.
Madam Miggin's Pie Shop.
Spelled SHOPPE.
In.
Yeah.
Love it. Sorry, I didn't read your headline, but Atlanta United christens new stadium with a big win over Dallas. And that's true. So good headline, Ferris.
And Dallas, man. No
accurate headline.
Accurate.
No fight in those guys in this. They were just
they're down to 6 right now in the West.
and they were doing so well earlier in the season.
They were the team.
Yeah, now they're tumbling down.
And only on a +1. Like, ugh.
Toronto's still looking like, oh man, if they don't get the MLS Cup this year,
something's wrong,
man. Because they definitely have.
They're going to play somebody choke in the big.
And it was a 4-0 win without Javinko scoring at all.
Yeah,
Altidore had a brace.
Yeah, but you got Javinko out there.
Javinko,
the dude, he just runs rampant.
And
everywhere.
Since he is such a threat, they're doubling up on him.
Right, he draws all the attention, and then you've got Altidore up there as well. Yeah,
and Bradley, who's putting him in from 30 yards out, 40 yards out.
Right, and he has. I mean, in CONCACAF, Bradley has a hard time with the fast pace and tough attacks,
the physical attacks
in the midfield. Yeah, in the MLS, he kind of has this time to do what he wants back there.
Right, and because there's nobody shoving him
nobody really
the Costa
putting
Rica,
on a lot of just all over him. Yeah,
in the Costa Rica and the Honduras match for the U.S. men's national team, it was all elbows and body checks. That's not really the way it is in MLS. So he's got plenty of time. No one closes him down. So he takes these monster shots. And unlike the Rocket Rivas here in Orlando, he actually can put them on frame.
Rivas knows where the goal is at. He just chooses not to shoot.
Well, we do live here. So, I mean, this is one of the lesser things we weren't really going to talk much about. But Orlando finally did get a win.
Did you see the headline for it, though?
Hold on. Let me read it. Yeah, I did, but I don't have it memorized. The headline is Bottom East Clash sees Orlando win on the road in DC 1-2. Yeah, they
won.
It's kind of how I felt.
Yeah,
that's my. But see,
they got 2 red cards at the end.
But see, you guys looked at me weird when I said that about Arsenal beating Bournemouth. I was like, they won. That's how I felt. Like both matches. I'm like,
well, I was very
mathematically
underwhelmed.
still in the playoff hunt, but it would be exactly what happened last year and the year before last, where they get right in like 7th place and they win a couple games at the end. Everybody's like, oh, look, they barely missed out on the playoffs. No. This team's not good.
Right. And they have 2 red cards, so their next match is going to be even tougher.
And we don't have Will Johnson.
Yeah, we had another player arrested this time for domestic violence, which
and there's he may just be done.
He's of that age; he could be done.
Yeah,
I mean, if the club says bye, I wouldn't be mad at this point.
No, I wouldn't be.
After hearing that,
and you know
headline,
what? Here's something that I will give the MLS over the NFL any day of the week. Not that it's a competition in that respect to me. MLS is because the MLS is a growing sport trying to get and win the hearts and minds of an America that's just grasping soccer. They don't want to be looked at like the NFL, who, we'll fire you this week because you got arrested for this for like hitting your spouse, and then 2 weeks later the Cowboys sign you. Yes, that was a Cowboys dig, but that
No, I think the
MLS does a better job of that.
I think the MLS has taken note of how other sports leagues.
It has hurt the NFL in the last 3 or 4 years, the way they've handled those situations.
They also wait until somebody's charged. The NFL doesn't sometimes. They do their own PI stuff, like Zeke Elliott and some of these things that whether he did it or not, I'm not here to debate that, but he wasn't actually charged with anything. It was dropped.
He wasn't charged before they suspended him.
Yeah.
No, he's just arrested.
Or just arrested. No, well,
There's a difference.
May have said that wrong. Like the thing has actually happened where like stuff had been dropped, and like the NFL does their own PI stuff and says, "Oh, we saw this video online, or we heard this happened. We'll suspend you or put you on the commissioner's list," and then the court of law hasn't really said anything yet, or you haven't actually shown up in a mugshot or anything like that. Where with like Laren and stuff here, the MLS reacted after that, not before that.
I don't know. I think that's an interesting point of view on that.
Yeah, because it's still court of law hasn't said anything about, didn't say anything about Laren,
Right.
and didn't say about Will Johnson because they hadn't gone to trial.
But they're not.
Well, Laren accepted.
They're not hearing all of this stuff and doing their own PI stuff and trying to figure it out prior to.
Yeah, but we only find out that the prior stuff happened in the NFL when there's a cover up about it. The NFL doesn't come out and say, "Hey, this happened, so we're taking this action," and then the law takes over.
Yeah, they keep it quiet until it erupts publicly. Then like, oh yeah, we've been looking at that. We've been looking at that.
We didn't know that this guy knocked his girlfriend out in the elevator, and they're doing the wink, wink, nudge, nudge, because then 5 months later it comes out that they knew about it before he was arrested. I think the NFL just, because these players make the NFL so much money, it is very easy for them to just blind one eye and go, "Oh, we didn't realize that," even though they knew it. Whereas the MLS takes very swift, succinct action that is fair and constant.
Yeah, I mean, I think
So far.
right. I mean, and you're also working on a different level. Like some of these guys that
doesn't
are
get
like
the attention that
AP
the
and some of these other guys that are right, doesn't get the attention and the names. I think I guess the point I'm trying to make is the NFL just botches it up.
Oh, it's completely botched.
Yeah.
There's no reason that Goodell should still be the commissioner. He screwed up so much for so long. I don't know why, just out of a PR move, they didn't get rid of him.
Because he's got stuff on the board.
He must, man. And I just hope the MLS, I react swiftly, fairly, I mean, but go ahead. We'll do this suspension. We'll move on stuff quickly. And
have they said what his I haven't seen. I mean, have they said he's going to be suspended for a certain amount of games for indefinitely? I
haven't seen a headline for it yet.
I do not know. I don't know if it was a pending investigation. All I know is that he was immediately suspended from playing in the next match.
The right call to make.
But I don't know. I don't know what the deal is. But just sad. It's just sad to see. But combine all that with that. Yes, Orlando's not. It's not good. It's not a good end of the year. It's the same end of the year.
No, it just.
But I do
got to have consistency, and we have to have some.
At the risk of losing some Orlando fans that listen to us, I do not agree with some of the vitriolic frustration, because I feel like Orlando fans don't realize how privileged they were to have a USL club that won all these championships. We were spoiled. And so there's a lot of people freaking out now that there are a lot of clubs in the MLS that are similar, that have fought or have stretches where they do what we do and they go just barely out of the playoffs. Do you know what I mean? We're only in the MLS for a couple of years, but we have a history of breaking records in attendance and winning championships in the USL. So for those, you know what I'm saying? It's a.
Yeah, and I think the worst thing to do right now would.
It's a very different situation in MLS.
Yeah, I think the worst thing to do right now would be to overreact and fire Jason Christ.
No, because he brought in some
give
good
him
people.
another year and see.
He's got a lot of leftovers from Heath.
What he's doing.
So let's see what he brings in next go round. I mean, because here's the other thing too. And I was talking to somebody on Twitter about this. I can't remember who was asking. So it was Salazar or whoever was asking. But I just said, yeah. And my other thought is, you want to trade up to a different model, but who's available right now? you may get another set of basically the same problems or equal problems. Like, you know what I mean? It's not like Atlanta scored an amazing world soccer experienced coach.
If Frank de Boer's available,
if Frank de Boer's available, if there were certain people available that would take it, it's one thing, but a lot of any available MLS coaches at this point that would be coming to league, I don't know what you're getting much better.
If you can bring one NFL coach to the MLS, who would that coach be?
One NFL coach.
Ooh.
Active?
Active, yeah.
Damn it.
The easy answer would be Belichick.
Not in my city.
Not in your city. Yeah.
I'd move. No, I don't want no dude in his cut off sweatpants and shorts on the side of the active.
That's a hard one because I have one for inactive.
Okay, who would your next one?
Playoffs. That's who I want.
Or you know who'd be a good one? Rex or Ryan. He'd be a ride on the sideline, wouldn't he?
He just needs to. He needs to just go. Rex Ryan. He's commentating on ESPN now, and it's terrible.
Oh yeah, it was.
I don't know. You know what's sad though?
John Harbaugh. That man can wear a pair of khakis like no other.
I love me. I grew up.
Wait, no, it's the other Harbaugh. There's a
Jim and John, right?
John's Michigan coach.
I think so.
Jim
Harbaugh would be the
Baltimore coach.
Right,
yeah.
Ravens.
I grew up watching NFL all the time. I am now so spoiled at the amount of soccer that's easily and available to watch.
It's tough to name who's head coaching.
It is tough to name the head coaches because I don't follow like I used to because I cut the games on and I am bored.
Ron Rivera as the coach.
Ron Rivera, actually, I'm from Carolina and I lean to that because I like Riverboat Ron. I like the steady.
That's a good soccer coach name too.
Well, the steady as she goes, but he's willing to make the gambles when they count. I like Riverboat Ron a lot.
Green Bay. What's his name?
No.
All I can think of
McCarthy?
Yes.
Yeah.
All I could think of was Mike Holmgren, which was the one before him.
It is weird though. I do don't think that I don't like football. I do. I just find it hard to deal with all the commercial breaks and downtime now because
it's really hard to watch.
I've just gotten so used to constant play. And granted, I know if NFL fans can make a comment of like, well, you don't score enough in soccer. And like, I understand I'm not judging in that respect. It's just for me personally now. I watch so much soccer that it is hard to. I do love a DVR football game.
Yeah,
fast forward the hell out of commercials.
Yeah, man. And the red zone.
After every kicker stoppage in the first half of the game, you're like, holy
shit, much like
get to a second half.
I think much like a baseball, I wish would institute a pitch clock. I think football should get rid of the stopping the clock on the incomplete pass.
Yeah,
let's move this thing along.
Yep. So the update on Will Johnson is currently that likely he will have to go through the MLS Substance Abuse and Behavioral Health Program, much like Laren did when Laren got his DUI. But the statement still is Johnson has been suspended pending investigation by MLS and Orlando PD. So that's where it still sits.
Good. He hasn't been put on the commissioner's list like the NFL.
Right, but he is suspended right now while they go.
I guess the commissioner's list is like being suspended. I don't know enough about.
I don't know. I think it's just a I think it's just a diversionary tactic to say
MLS pushes very hard for family and inclusion. So anytime you see something like that, it's just disappointing. Just as it was with Laren with his DUI, it's just disappointing.
So the Eastern Conference top four, Toronto FC sitting up top, 59 points. New York City FC playing on their tiny field at 50 points. Chicago Fire are in third at 45 points. And then Columbus Crew working their way up to the fourth spot.
Who rounds out the top six? Those are the
43 points. New York Red Bulls are in fifth on 41 points. And Atlanta United FC taking the last playoff spot in the East on 39 points. In the Western Conference, your top six, Portland Timbers are riding steady at the top at 44, but Seattle's really creeping up behind them in second place at 43 points. That puts Vancouver Whitecaps in third on 41 points. Fourth is Sporting KC at 41 points. Fifth, Houston Dynamo holding steady in that fifth spot at 38. And FC Dallas slowly tumbling through the table, 6th spot, 37 points.
Can you imagine if San Jose leaps them or something and they don't make the playoffs?
Yeah, but San Jose has a minus 17 goal difference.
Yeah, well, they got to do it on the pitch.
Hey, it doesn't matter about your goal difference.
That is third most in the league.
If you get the points over that, if you get the points over FC Dallas, you're in.
See ya.
And you could have a minus 38 as long as you have the points over it.
Yeah, and they have a good game in hand on San Jose, Real Salt Lake, and they're even with the Galaxy right now, who is within touching distance. But I think that top 6 will probably just stay the same.
Yeah, it's just going to shuffle around a little bit in the 4th, 5th, 6th spot, I think.
You could also see the Dynamo drop into there. They've been slowly going down, and they lost to the Colorado Rapids, who's bottom of the West this past weekend as well. So you could see them actually fall, and then San Jose come up, and FC Dallas stay in there still.
Yeah.
Who knows? It'll be interesting.
An interesting run up to the end of the season.
For sure.
Well, gentlemen, that wrap up our birthday pod.
Our birthday pod, our Around the World pod.
Our Around the World with Ron. Big story time with Big Papa Ron and Ron's birthday pod.
I'm going to go to Mrs. Miggin's pie shop and get a pie.
That's what we're going to do next Sunday is have some late British meat pies for breakfast brunch when Arsenal does not beat Chelsea.
This feels like a game that Arsenal is just going to win. And you're just gonna be like, what the That's exactly what's going to
Well, that's what I said. I said that too.
Yeah, exactly. You said that a few pods ago. Like, this is one of those ones that you're like, oh, they're going to get their tails kicked. And then they win like a 3-0 win over Chelsea. And you're just going, what in the world just happened?
Yeah, no, exactly. And I'll be like, sorry, buddy, it was your birthday party. I wanted you to win. I guess I'll take these 3 points. Thank you. I'll take those. All right. Well, good choice in the beer again. Big Storm Brewing. Helicity Lager. So tasty. Follow us on the Facebooks. Follow us on Twitter at Brewtiful Game. The website's thebrutifulgame.com.
Untapped.
You can find us on Untapped. Instagram. You can now listen to us, whether you listen to us on iTunes, you can also listen to us on TuneIn, Stitcher. I think about anywhere you can find a podcast. I've now officially think I've got us on everywhere.
You're doing awesome with that.
Speaking of which, please, if you are enjoying the show, leave a rating and a review. It super helps us move up in noticeability so people can discover the show. And if you leave a rating review, please hit us on Twitter or Facebook to let us know that you did so we can give you a shout out on the show. And that goes for iTunes or if you listen to us or Stitcher, whatever. A rating review on there is huge.
Please.
And thank you.
Yes. And for those who've already done, Slanja, thank you very much.
Slanja.
All right, gentlemen. Shall we call this to a close? Love the beer. Cherish the game. The Brewtiful Game.
Boot to the head.
# drink local. Everybody hope you're doing okay after Irma.